Good evening, colleagues. I appreciate Neuro-Op for inviting me to talk about the spectrum of mitochondrial DNA mutations of Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy in Asians. I will talk about Asian patients, not including Chinese patients, the next subject. I have no financial disclosure. There are discrete haplogroups according to races. European haplogroup J2 may increase the penetrance for LHON with 11778 and J1 with 14484 and K with 3460. On the contrary, haplogroup H is suggested to be protective of 11778. In Asians, Chinese haplogroup M7B1'2 may increase the penetrance with 11778. On the other hand, MAA and F may be protective for 11778. Southeast Asian B5A1 might increase the penetrance, and F1 might be protective of 11778. Southeast Asian M and BM are mostly associated with 11778. There was no association of 11778 and haplogroups in Indian populations. Mutational hotspots other than three primary mutations were ND1 and 6 in European and ND1 and 5 in Chinese patients suspected of having LHON. 3460 mutations belongs to haplogroup H, J, and K in Caucasians, and to 8 haplogroups of A, B, C, D, F, H2, M, and R in Eastern Asians. Haplogroup A, B, and M may increase the penetrance of visual loss. Some certain haplogroup-specific variants may enhance the penetrance of visual loss. Prevalence of LHON differs among diverse ethnicities, from 1 out of 31,000 in northern United Kingdom to 1 out of 526,000 in Serbia. Male to female ratio was highest in Japanese LHON patients as of 8 or 9 to 1, and lowest as 3.3 to 1 in England. There are over 20 primary LHON mutations, including 3 major ones in red. Among these, 4171 mutation was first confirmed in 2 Korean pedigrees. There are over 20 candidate LHON mutations. Among these, 3472 mutation was confirmed in a Korean patient. We reported 13 to 59 mutation as a new candidate in a 23-year-old woman who developed a sudden painless and progressive visual loss in the left eye, followed by the same event in the right eye 6 months later. She showed temporal pallor, papillomacular bundle thinning, sequocentral scotoma, and temporal RNFL thinning in both eyes. Her visual acuity of 2400 in both eyes remained the same for the following 2 years. About 90% of LHON patients carry one of the 3 major primary mutations. 11778 is the most common mutation among the various LHON cohorts, with the exception of French Canadians, of whom 14484 reported as the most common mutation. The frequency of 11778 was from highest to lowest as 95% in Japanese, Indonesian, and Thais, 73% among three major mutations in 82 Korean LHON province, 50 to 70% in European, and 38 to 41% in two large Chinese cohorts. Regarding spontaneous improvement in LHON, the visual recovery rate is known to be 4% with 11778, 37 to 65% with 14484, and 22% with 3460. Some spontaneous visual recovery was reported with these 5 mutations, best with 4171. The frequency of 11778 was highest as 87% in Japan. The frequency of 14484 was highest as 18% in Denmark, 16% in Korea, and none in some reports. 3460 was variable from 0 to 13%. 3460 mutation showed racial difference, 0 to 4% in Asian versus 9 to 13% in Caucasians, much lower in Asians. LHON mutation found in Southeast Asian population include 11778, 14484, and 3316 with 11778 as the majority. In Southeast Asian LHON patients, 11778 is mostly associated haplogroup MMBM, combination of 1098 and other single nucleotide polymorphisms specific for the haplogroup J, M, and BM might act synergistically to increase the penetrance of the LHON mutations. Among 100 South Indian LHON patients, class 1 in 42 and class 2 mutation in 13 patients were found. The class 1 group include 11778 and 14484, 4171, and 11696. The class 2 group have these 10 mutations. Haplogroup M predominated in 69% of the cases, followed by RU and others. Regarding Japanese LHON patients, 67 males and 5 females newly developed LHON during 2014. The number of incidents in 2014 was estimated to be 117. 93% were males. The median age at onset was 38 in males, 30 years in females. 87% had 11778, 11% 14484, and 2% 3460. In the second national survey in Japan in 2019, 49 males and 6 females from 35 institutions were reported. The total number of patients was estimated to be around 2,500. The prevalence of LHON in Japan was 1 out of 50,000. The median age of onset was around 29 years in males and 50 years in females. 82% had 11778, 15% 14484, and the other 4% has these 2 mutations. Let's move on to the Korean patients with LHON. In 60 confirmed Korean unrelated LHON prevalence, 11778 accounted for 3/4, 14484 for 1/5, and 3460 for 1%. Korean patients with LHON are characterized by higher prevalence of 14484 and lower prevalence of 3460. This study analyzed the visual prognosis of 12 Korean LHON patients with 14484. One improved to 20/50 in both eyes. About 2/3 improved to 20/50 or better at least in one eye. We found 2 Korean families with 4171. There were 4 patients, and all of them showed visual acuity of 20/40 or better in both eyes. The last one only showed mild temporal pallor and small central scotomas. In summary, the LHON mutations confirmed in Korean patients include 5 primary mutations, including 4171 and 3635, 3 class 2 mutations, and 3 others. To wrap up, there are discrete haplogroups according to races. Japanese patients show higher proportion of male patients and 11778. Korean patients with LHON are characterized by higher prevalence of 14484 and lower prevalence of 3460 compared to the Caucasian patients. Thank you. 谢谢。